How was Monday? How was the aftermath? We've seen plenty online and on social media and various other places. It must have been quite the experience for everybody.
Yeah, I think it was. It was, like an amazing day, night, which was fully deserved, really. I think it's been fully deserved throughout what we've done this year, and rightly so, that together we get an opportunity to obviously do what we planned out to do and then celebrate after. So, it was a good night.
You've got a bit viral for that video of the little team talk that you did with the players. I've seen it loads of different places. I think potentially it's quite popular because there's a bit of your personality, a bit of vulnerability even in it. Is that a side of you that the players see quite a lot of, or is that it all dawning on you that you've kind of got there?
No, I think it's definitely a side what the players probably often see, and probably only the players and maybe the close staff around the training facilities, other than my family, what see that really. So pretty emotional person in general, really, and I suppose throughout the year I'm sure the players have seen every bit of me and what I am really, and that was just a lot of emotion coming out at that moment when you work so hard and you work with a group. And I think I've constantly mentioned to you guys, like, that this group, they don't cease to surprise me, really. I've seen the commitment and the sheer hard work. That we're in an industry where people, you just get judged at a win or a loss, or you get judged on winning a title or not winning a title, or getting promoted. And there's an extreme amount of work that goes into it. And fundamentally, I was just absolutely delighted for every single one at the football club, the players as well, that they went on a journey which I tried to plan out early on since I came here. And I was just relieved, happy, while I had full belief and total confidence. Obviously, once you get it over the line, they're just pleased and, extremely proud of them, really.
How much do you think that approach, giving a bit of yourself, being a bit emotional in those situations, do players buy into that? Does it give it more? Do they give you more of themselves as a result, do you think?
I'm not sure, really. I don't know. It's never planned in that way, really. It's just me being me, and that's the way I manage and that's the way I coach, really. We're in a human profession where you're dealing with human beings, and it's sometimes, like anything, I just try and always be very authentic in terms of who I am and what I am. And I'm sure there's somewhat maybe don't engage with it, but we seem to have a group here. We've been very open throughout it, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, I'm not sure, but it's just me being me and trying to get the best out of us. And in that moment after the game, I'm not trying to get the best out of people. I'm just speaking as I feel at that moment, really.
There might have been a few, I hope they've died off by now, but there might have been a few sore heads to deal with in the last couple of days. Psychologically, is there a mental side of this as well? You've achieved something, you've done what you wanted to do, but there is still something there that's there for you on the table that is going and winning the thing.
Definitely, yeah. And while that wasn't definitely that wasn't at the forefront of our mind on Monday, because, like I said, we'd earned the right to have a good night and celebrate. As quickly as I say that, Dan, we've come in now and full attention, and we're back to me saying to you the next game, and that next game comes against QPR, and that's our sole focus. And we've worked this morning and we'll work again. We'll prep into this game with one focus now. It's, can we go and try and get maximum points out of the next two games and try and win this league? And that's the next challenge, and that's the next task, really. So we need to park what we've done, and we've had a short celebration, and that's because we've now got two massive games which we're wanting to try and get maximum points out and show the best version of ourselves, like we've done all year, really.
We say sitting here that it tends to be a good sign at a club when players start sounding like their manager in press conferences. That's definitely happened. Do they start to take on board naturally? Do they do things naturally that you've been telling them all season now? This idea of you've come back in, we've celebrated, we're now looking at QPR, we're looking at winning that game, maybe taking a step towards the title. Are they doing that without you telling them?
Yeah, and they've been doing that throughout the year, really. So that's why I love this group so much. They engage, they take on the messages, they're humble, have humility about them that follow, and it's the same with them. I learn things off of them. I engage certain languages or certain traits, or I'm learning as well as a coach, where I look at them and think, yeah, you know what, I like that. And I think that's the group we are, really. We're a group that learn off of each other and have a clear understanding of what's needed to be successful, and that's what's put us in the position we're in.
What would it mean to you to get one more step and win that title?
Everything, and that's our aim. Yeah, that's our aim now. We've ticked one box, and that box was to get out of this division and back into the Premier League, where this club deserves to be and these players deserve to be. The next one now is, can we tick another one and try and become champions of this division, really? And that's the sole aim now.
It's so close, isn't it, with just the goal difference separating you. I guess one slip up in either of these games for either team could prove to be decisive.
It can be, yeah. Look, we need to full focus. Same with Leeds, who are going for this as well. So we'll end up hopefully on this season with a large amount of points that maybe at any year would probably get it done. It's been a competitive season this year with 3 teams battling it out throughout. So yeah, we'll see where we end up, mate.
What does it say about the Championship? I think we talked very, very early in your tenure about what might be needed to get yourself into promotion position, and I think you've probably already exceeded that points-wise. What does it say about the 3 clubs? What does it say about the Championship?
It's just such a competitive league, and we've been around it. I've been around it for such a long time, and I have an understanding of what this division brings and certain characteristics, what teams need. A relentless league that is very more highly competitive. Games come thick and fast. You need to have a certain mentality about you to be able to grind in certain moments, and no doubt throughout this year there's been periods in the season where then periods have come exactly like that. We've just come out the back of that again. Friday, Monday, massive game on Monday. You've got to recover, you've got to prep, you've got to stay mentally so switched on, and not let it become an emotional drain or a mental drain. These are professional athletes that every week are practically running half marathons 3 times a week. So on the body, the drain on the body, sometimes the emotional drain of what a league can be. 1 minute you're wherever you are in the league, then you're X amount. That's why I've always been very consistent. Don't get involved in any of that, because it's them drains that can slowly reduce energy or can filter into a squad that has a big effect on it. But yeah, it's been a real competitive one, and I think Chris said that after the game as well. They've been fighting around it. They had 1 week where they slipped up a little bit, and we was there along with Leeds as well, and we took advantage of that, like we have done all year, really.
You potentially could eclipse or at least match a number of big records as well, clean sheets, games unbeaten. I could sit here and rhyme them off. We've talked before about taking pride in the clean sheets thing that the whole team does. Does making history appeal as well? Is that part of the process? If you can achieve what you want to achieve, you'll break those records?
I think it will when you get off the treadmill, mate. I'll be honest. And what I mean by that terminology is at this present moment in time, for 11 months, you've just been on a treadmill. And it's a treadmill that you understand, we're doing really well here, and this is brilliant, and this record's been broken, but it's probably not until the cold light of day, when the season comes to an end, that you jump off it and you reflect a little bit and you realise the achievements, or some of the achievements that will really sink in for every one of us. So it's not at the forefront at this present moment in time. I'm extremely proud of it, and what we have done over the course of this season, the numbers, and certainly on the defensive side of things, is pretty astonishing, to be quite honest with you. To concede the amount of goals we've conceded, to go 31 games unbeaten, to lose at this present day only 2 games all year. It's pretty remarkable, really, and I'm extremely proud of the group for us doing that. I think I'll be even more prouder, or probably have a real more understanding, and probably sit back and think, we've done really, really well when it's all said and done, really. So I need to jump off that treadmill, mate, but that's not for another 10 days. So ask me then. We're
still going, aren't we? Can that be the basis, what you've done structure-wise, foundations-wise, can that be the basis for next year? Because I think about 10 minutes after you got promoted on Monday, the debate started of, how do you stay in the Premier League? Everybody's going down at the moment.
Yeah. It will be the basis, yeah. The basis will be the culture and the environment that we've created in a real short period of time will be the bedrock of what we will drive next year as well. And that will be it. Realise a challenge, of course, there's a challenge, and it's been proven probably over the last 2 seasons. But we've got something here which is, a togetherness, a core group of men that, stick together. And I always say that a name on a piece of paper, of course, but actually putting people out there with a desire and a real hunger and a togetherness, which we absolutely have, will put us in good stead. And a lot more improvement for us to do going into the next part of our journey. But there are challenges that we're relishing, and there's challenges there which we can't wait to face, like we faced them this year.
You've obviously got 2 more games to go and something to play for, but does planning have to start for pre-season and next season pretty much straight away?
Yeah, definitely now. Yeah, eyes are starting to turn a little bit, certainly from my side as well. Not too much. There's people at the football club that are obviously maybe starting to look a little bit further into that. So while 90% of my day and my weeks leading on the next 10 days will be full focus on us getting results and prepping and doing the best we can to go into these last 2 games in the best shape, there's obviously people around what we're obviously looking into that.
And as far as the actual game's concerned, you'll obviously want to go there and do the business, won't you?
We certainly will, mate. Yeah, we'll be going there full of confidence, like we have done, coming out the back of an incredible game on Monday night, and obviously us executing what we needed to. So yeah, we're going to go there as always in the best preparation and give the best version of ourselves and hopefully take 3 points.
Do you think you're perceived differently once you've achieved something? Do you think you become kind of there to be shot at?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, look, when I think we probably faced that for a long period this year, whether that's teams coming to us wanting to score against us to obviously reduce a clean sheet when we was on a 10 game, whatever it was, clean sheet run, or whether it's now that teams know that they're playing the equal top team in this division, and you're there to try and get you, really. So, but nothing that we've not faced.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, pal.
Hi, Scott. We talked about all the stats there and the records. Personally, I think the craziest one is you've not conceded more than 1 in a league game all season. How special is that? How do you manage to do that over 44 games?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, pretty remarkable, really. I think I've always said that, and it probably gets a bit boring from you guys hearing it, but fundamentally, people always look in the first line of people's eyes when you look at a defensive record, or go to a keeper or go to a back 4. Now these guys have been incredible, of course they have, and they'll appreciate my words, because as a group and as a unit, that would never ever be the case if there wasn't a group of men every time they walk out of there, whether it's subs coming in. There's just traits in this team and habits in this team that every single one of them, if you're an attacking player, 9 times out of 10 base your game around scoring goals, which of course that's still the case. They also have a real understanding of as a group and as a team, they have real pride in us defending our own goal, really. So yeah, another stat from this year, which is pretty remarkable, really.
We discussed again with Dan about having sort of more certainty going forward. When are you planning? Is that the case, especially with the contract talks with the likes of CJ and Josh Brown? And now you know where you're going to be next season?
Yeah, they're ongoing conversations, what we've been having now over the last few months. So again, these are conversations that we'll keep engaging with, and probably now we all know, and there's very real clarity in what next year and where we're going to be. Hopefully we can get some conclusions on both of them, really.
Yeah, how confident are you that those 2 in particular stay here?
Yeah, I'm confident. I am confident. I know that both the players who we're talking about here are out of contract, or just these ones out of contract, have absolutely loved this year, and they've been vital cogs of what we've done. So there's always, you obviously never know, and but hopefully we can try and get to a point where we'll have a bit more clarity on that.
And again, that you have more certainty with some of the loan players they brought in this season will be here next season. How good is that to get them tied down nice and early?
Yeah, really good. I think that's probably been key. So a bit of continuity going into next year. Players that have been working with me now for a year or for 3 or 4 months. So speeds up process next year, definitely, that you're not having to do a bulk of work with new players coming in. So I'm pleased that, people like Jaden and Marcus, Marcus less so, but these players that have been around my training and understand me a little bit more, that process is a little bit quicker.
How tricky will it be to get that balance right between protecting that culture you spoke about, but also bringing in quality that you might need in the Premier League?
Yeah, tricky. Yeah, no denying it. That'll be the next challenge, certainly for us as an organisation, in terms of getting that balance right. And we'll try our hardest to do that. I think we all appreciate, and I certainly do, every single one of these players this year and what they've done, what they've brought. And it's something that I'm conscious of.
I have to ask it. It's been reported this week that you have admirers at Tottenham, a club close to your heart. Is there any comment you can make about that?
No, I think at the moment, mate, yes, I've got one single focus, and that's Burnley, and that's us and what we've done this year, really. And that's exactly where my focus is. Football brings around rumours and constant things like that. I'm absolutely fully focused on what we're doing here and what we've done here, and finishing off this season, really.
Thank you. And I've got a left field question. The Unwritten, the song by Natasha and Bedingfield. What is the backstory? Is there a backstory to that, or has it just happened? What is the story to that?
I don't think there's a back. Well, the backstory is that song got played early on in the season, when after a game when we won, and it seems to be a go-to song. I don't know who brought it, who suggested it, but after every game. It's lucky, obviously, we seem to have played it quite a lot this year, really. So it was a song that after every game gets played, really. So, yeah. In
terms of Saturday, injury-wise, how are you looking at anything new sort of report?
No, injury, we're fully there, really. So no injuries coming out of the game. Some slight knocks and some slight ones we need to look after a little bit. And we've done that this week, we'll be fully strength going into QPR.
How's Lal Foster getting on?
He's doing all right. Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe there's a slight opportunity that he may be ready to come back, really. So we'll have eyes on him again a little bit tomorrow to see if he's quick enough for QPR, which is a possibility. If not, hopefully we can see him in the last game.
And finally, can I ask you about Joe Worrell? I've noticed last few weeks he's really taken on like a leadership role, almost from the sidelines. At Coventry away, he was blocking the orders while he was warming up, so to speak. How special is that when he's a player who's not playing?
I'm so glad you asked me, really, because it's things like that which I was just saying. I came in this morning and was planning my meeting, and I don't know what goal it was. It may have been the penalty, or whether it was a first, and there was the camera that shot to the side, and I think it was Ashley, I think there was Redders, I think there was Joe Worrell, and just the sheer passion what these guys have driven from a sideline. Look, I've been a player. I know that it's difficult sometimes, and someone like Joe you mentioned, it's been unfortunate for Joe. He came in, done really, really well, had the shirt, unfortunately got injured, and obviously CJ came in at that moment, and it's been a struggle to get back in the side. But I always say to the boys what I'm not playing at, for me, I always judge someone in terms of what they are and what they stand for when things ain't going so well. And Joe Worrell probably epitomises every bit of that. He's out in the warm-ups before games. He comes out. He's working with the back four. Doesn't need to, but obviously we ask him. But the subs normally come out after. This is a guy that puts his hand up every time, boots on, helping, and has drove something here. Even at the weekend, comes on for 5 minutes and is just rock solid in everything he does, really. So wholeheartedly, I appreciate every single one of this group, because I'm highlighting Joe here. I could highlight Jeremy. I could highlight a ton of others who have been rock solid in what they stand for, really, and on one goal, which is to help this team try and be successful. And they're a large part of why we have been, really. Cheers.
Neatly taking it on from there, if we look forward to QPR on Saturday, is there a temptation for you to give time on the pitch to the likes of Joel Worrell, Jeremy Sarmiento, players that haven't had the opportunity? The job is done, but you've said you want to tick the box of champions. So is there a difficult balancing act between it is an opportunity to either bring in young players and give them experience, or reward the patient fringe players? Or is the burden on you to let the core that have got you there finish the job?
Balance, really. There's definitely a balance. So there's options there for us, and maybe there is options to bring certain players in. I don't think I certainly won't be bringing them players in because it's the right thing to do to give them minutes. I think that would be disrespectful to them players. The reason them players will be coming in because I know they're ready. I know they can help us. I know they can freshen up things after, which has been not just a physical demand on us over the last few weeks, but also an emotional one as well. So them decisions what I'll be making will be coming from a place who are the best players at this present moment in time to win this game for many different reasons. But yeah, them options are certainly there. I think, like I reiterate, it wouldn't be because, it's a thank you. And I don't think them players would want that. Them players will come in because they deserve to be playing, and at this present moment in time, they're the best fit for us to get 3 points, really.
His name reverberated around Turf Moor on Monday. Hannibal Mejbri is in incredible form. If you look, his performance against Norwich at the Turf, he was influential again on Monday. I wonder if you've noticed anything, because if you look at the start of the season, he was booked 5 times and then sent off. You were quite critical of him at the time. He was sent off for the stamp against Stoke on New Year's Day. He's been booked twice in the 4 months since. Have you noticed a change in him from that red card? And how would you assess his influence? Because the fans love him.
Have I seen a change? Absolutely. Right. And I think you're right. This has been a journey, on a personal journey with Han, an emotional boy, someone who every time steps on a line, you can see it, and he brings that to every single game. I think what's impressed me the most of him, I've just seen someone mature, and not only emotionally and psychologically, but I've seen someone mature in terms of the way he's playing as well. He's starting to understand things, and he's engaged in what I've asked of him, and I think that's definitely helped him in terms of his general play. But I think you're right. I see someone probably much more stable now. At the beginning of this season, that probably wasn't the case. I felt he played on emotion too much. I feel his whole game was based around emotion, and while basing your game around emotion can get you through certain games, it can also take you the other way, because there was big drop-offs for him. If emotionally games weren't going his way, you could see a real drop-off, hence, or frustration, and sending off was a prime example of that. I see someone much more stable now, so I still see that raw emotion there, which we need and has to be. Hannibal alone can get a stadium going with one action. What he does, he engages in people gravitate to him. But I see a real development just in terms of his behaviours, in terms of where he's going. This is a young boy still, but I've seen a massive improvement. And you're right, I think over the last 3 months he's been key. He's been vital for us. And full credit to him, really, because I know the commitment, what he's had to go through. No doubt some real frustrations at times with me personally, in terms of me asking things of him or not being happy in certain moments and trying to push him into areas where I felt he needed to improve. And he's took everything on board, not really sulked. Maybe sometimes he has, but he's took everything on board and tried to do it, really, and he's reaping the benefits from that, really.
Much has rightly been made about the two previous successes in the Championship, but there has been a difficult time as well. I think if somebody had come to you 2 years ago, shortly after you were sacked by Bruges, and because we've spoken here and you said you didn't want anything to do with football at the time, you wanted to get off the treadmill. If somebody had turned around to you and said, 2 years from now, you're going to have won promotion back to the Premier League, would you have believed them?
Would have believed them. I always believed that, this doesn't surprise me, and I don't say that in an arrogant way, and because I'm far from that. But for sure, if someone would have said that to me, I said, yeah, I can definitely do that. Would I have wanted to have done it? Maybe that would have been a different answer at that moment in time from where I was, because like I said, there was coming out of look, I've been a manager now for 4 full seasons. 4 full seasons, that's how long I've been a manager, and during them 4 full seasons I've been at the height of the height. My first job was Fulham, where I had to get promoted. We did that. I then went into the Premier League, which is obviously a huge challenge for a promoted club, and needed to stay in it, and we didn't manage to do that. Bournemouth, the same. Second season with Bournemouth, it was, if there was ever a year where you've got to get promoted, it's this year. We can't afford not to, and have a third year. We've seen clubs what have missed that boat, and it sails away, and before you know it, you're in and around the Championship for a lot of years. We did that. So, and then I had the blip where could I have justified it? Yeah, for sure. 4 games in the Premier League with Bournemouth, first being Aston Villa, and we won, and then the others were tough games, and lost my job, and decided to go to Bruges, and was only there for 10 weeks after moving family and making a huge commitment on what I thought would be a bit of a journey. And at that moment, took some breath really, but I've probably gone on a little bit there. But for sure, look, I would have believed you if you'd have said to me in 2 years' time you'd have got promotion again.
Off the back of the comment you made there about Bournemouth, were you told when you arrived here, you have to take us up?
I wasn't told that, but that was the only reason I would have come to, or I'd have got back into work. I wouldn't have got back into work or gone somewhere where that ambition wouldn't have been the case. My sole ambition this year was to try and be successful somewhere, and from the minute I stepped in here, I think I said it after the game to the players. Initially, I made my judgment on a bit of paper, just looking at names on a bit of paper, to work out whether we had an opportunity of being successful. So that was never put to me, while of course I understood. A team coming out of the Premier League or just been relegated, I'm not stupid and naive enough to not know that an owner or ownership would want success this year. But that matched mine. I wouldn't have wanted to have been anywhere else where that drive and that ambition wouldn't have been to try and get promoted, really.
Yeah, no problem. We're into awards season. Who'd be in the running for the Manager's Player of the Year?
The Manager's Player of the Year?
If you were to give out...
Cannot.
I'm not asking for one name. I'm not asking for one name. I'm asking who'd be in the running.
All of them. And I honestly mean that, all of them. They've been absolute stars, certainly to me there, so all of them.
No problem. Thank you very much.